The TrekWorks YouTube channel is sponsored by Tenant Controls, makers of lighting kits, soundboards, and more. Tenant Controls brings your models to life. And by HDA Model Works, suppliers of scale model lighting products, detail parts, and complete model kits. Visit HDAModelWorks.com today. Welcome back, everyone. Boyd here with you. Well, this is part 3 of our Revell 12700 Star Destroyer build. I've been a busy guy working on this one, and I'm also working on the big Battlestar model at the same time, getting that one ready to be finished up, but putting in some time on the Star Destroyer here. We thought we'd come back and show you how everything's going with it. I've been working heavily on the lighting system for it now. We talked about that in the last video, using the green strawberry lighting kit. I really like this kit so far. Everything's been going really well with the installation. Here you can finally see the main control board that I've got installed. It's a really nice little plug-and-play system. You've got the board there, and all of your lighting harnesses plug into that. You can see where I've got these mounted in a few different spots here, in these areas right in here. The kit already comes assembled with the 0.02 millimeter fiber optic emitters already attached onto those lighting components. So it's up to you just to kind of figure out where to arrange everything and put it so it all works. Now, the really neat thing that they did with this lighting kit is that they have it so when it powers up, everything comes on in a certain sequence. So you get kind of a neat power-up effect, like the ship is just waking up and, you know, the different sections of the ship begin to light. So you kind of have to plan that out a little bit. And I've been kind of mixing and matching, doing that, you know. I'm going to turn it on in a minute here and you'll see what I'm talking about. But we can have an effect where our different window groups, you know, kind of come on in different areas of the ship until the ship is fully lighted, and then finally at the end of that sequence, the main star drive engines come on and power up, which is a really neat effect. I really like that, and it will just stay on like that until you power it back down. So I've been using this 0.02 millimeter that the kit comes with, the fiber optic that is, and I've worked it all the way around on this side of the model. I guess this would be the starboard side. And I'm just now starting to get started on the other side over here. I'm using a really tiny little drill bit. I decided to go just one size or maybe two sizes bigger than the drill bit that the lighting kit comes with, because I found that it's just such a tiny little fragile bit. I already broke the tip of it off. It's still working, but it was difficult to push the fibers in to the holes that the drill bit created. They were almost the exact same size. And they're so tiny and microscopic that even using my magnifying glasses, they were almost impossible to see once you had drilled the hole. So that really, believe it or not, was taking a lot of my time before I made a little change there. Just struggling to push all the fiber optics in the holes from the inside. That took more time than all the drilling and everything combined. So once I bumped up to that little bit bigger size bit, everything started going a little bit faster. I was able to get the fiber optics in there, and you know, with no problem and all that, and the little bit bigger size hasn't hurt it at all. Basically what I do is I get them all pushed in, leave, you know, maybe about a length of about 2 or 2.5 inches extra, and then once I got all that installed, I just ran some Canopy Glue all the way around the inside perimeter here and glued them all in place, let them sit overnight, and then I came back with some clippers and clipped them all off until they were flush. I had to, you know, use a combination of a clipper and a really sharp brand new number 11 blade on the hobby knife, because some of the areas were like underneath ledges and hard to get to, so I had to get the tip in there and just kind of, you know, work and cut each one off until they were flush. But that all worked out really good. And so once the Canopy Glue is dried, one step I forgot to mention is that when I had them all glued and everything, you know, a little bit of that glue fills the hole. So that's what I meant about drilling that hole just a little bit bigger, and the glue actually fills the gap in the hole. And then I painted it, you know, with all the with the fiber optics still sticking out, and that actually kind of, you know, covers up the light leak you would have around, you know, with the glue and the fiber optic in the hole. So once I painted over that and then clipped it, you still have the, you know, the size of the fiber optic, which is really small, the, you know, the tip, and that extra, you know, area around there's all covered up, so it doesn't have a, you know, it doesn't look bigger than it should. So that's a good solution for using this really tiny fiber optic. Now, as I mentioned up on the top on the bridge and some of the areas of the upper areas of the ship, I noticed looking at my filming model references that it looks like they used a little bit bigger fiber optic, so I went with 0.25 up on the top, and I showed you the bridge in the last video, so I'm going to try to keep going with that. So I'm going to have to make a another emitter or another, you know, power source, because I've got an LED strip in that one, and so I'm going to have to tap into the lighting system. What I'll do is just run a power, you know, where my power comes in, I'll tap into that, and then I'll just have it on a switch to where when I first turn the model on, the bridge in the upper area of the ship will light up first, and then all the sequencing will start happening here on, you know, lighting up the rest of it. So it's, like I said, it's working out really good. In the middle of all that, doing all this drilling and everything, I managed to finally kill my old Dremel stylus, which probably is one of my all-time favorite tools that I have here in the shop. So I replaced it with this Genesis 7.2 lithium-ion. It's the closest thing you're going to find on the market to the original stylus. Unfortunately, they quit making the stylus, and I guess it was too good or whatever, because I really love that Dremel, and I was sorry to see it go. I was in the middle of drilling and everything, and all of a sudden it just went crazy on me. It went wide open, and it wouldn't shut off, it wouldn't slow down, and it kept running that way until it finally burned up. So I think I'll play taps and bury it in the backyard or something like that. But anyway, I just got this, and I'm going to do a review on this for you guys. If some of you guys out there are looking for a replacement for a Dremel or never had the stylus in the first place, if you try to find one of those now on eBay or somewhere, especially if you try to buy a new one that's never been opened, they're almost like $300. I can't believe it, but I don't really trust buying a used one. But this one's about $30 with all the accessories. You do have to buy an aftermarket adjustable chuck for it. The one from the Dremel unfortunately doesn't fit it, so I've got that on the way. And when I get that here in the next couple days, I'm going to make a separate video to show you guys a review on that, because I know it's a really popular tool with everybody, especially, you know, if you don't have a stylus. But so far so good. It runs about the same, it feels about the same, so hopefully it'll be a good replacement and last. I've had that Dremel stylus for probably 6 or 7 years, and it had a ton of miles on it. I use it almost on every project I do, so hopefully this will be a good replacement. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to come back and hook up the power to our lighting system here, and I'm going to give you a little look at how it all looks when the lights come on. Be right back. Okay, everybody, well, time to power this thing up now. I've got it connected to my power supply. The lighting kit here runs at 12 volts, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick it on here and stand back, and you guys can see some of the sequencing starting. You can see the emitters kind of coming on in different places, and that'll give you the simulated effect of the different, you know, areas of the ship lighting up, and you can see them kind of all popping on there. And not sure how good it'll show up on the camera here for you, but I'll just give you a look around the perimeter on the sides. I'll do one more quick little segment on this. I'll put the top on it and do it in some low light so you can see a little bit better view of that. But you can see I've got some mixed colors going on there. Noticing that there were some reds that were there on the sides of the ship on the Star Destroyer. Looked at a couple scenes from the movies where I did notice that. I didn't do too many of them because I think at this scale, if I did too many reds, they would start to take over. And you really can't see them most of the time in the film. There's only a couple of up-close shots when the ship's flying by that you can notice them. So I think I've got that balanced out pretty well. So that's looking pretty good. Now, in order to do that, I just, you can see here what I did is the ones that I wanted to have in red, I just simply took some Tamiya transparent red and painted the inside part here, the tips of the fiber optics, and they, you know, they come out red on the other end. Like you can see, these are white here, and then if you look these are red. And that worked out pretty well. So as I mentioned, I've got to put some, think about some extra lighting, because I've got to light the area here of the docking, the main docking port, and then this little smaller one up in here. And I'll be doing that with some little, SMDs or whatever, and I'll just wire those up separately to the power as it comes in, and we'll get that all figured out, and I'll show you what I do with all that. But let me turn the power back off here really quick again, and I'm going to turn the model, and you guys will be able to see the light up effect on the engines. If I get these fiber optics out of the way, these guys are unruly and they want to, go where they want to go, so hopefully we can get most of them out of the way. Okay, so you can see the main engines. I'll turn the power back on. Now it takes a second for these to come on because all the other lighting comes on first, the main lighting on the hull. All those emitters are coming on. But then you'll see this power up here. And it gives a really nice effect. It's nice and bright. There you go. You get the three main engines that come on first. They start doing their kind of little pulsing thing. Then after a couple of seconds, the four smaller engines will come on as well. And there they go. And so what will happen now is it'll continue to run like this as long as you leave the power turned on. In a couple seconds, those four small engines will go back out. And then after a certain amount of time, they'll come back on again, and they'll just keep doing that. I really like that. I think that looks great. And I'm really impressed with how bright it looks too, just like it should in the movie. Nice white looking light too. It's not like blue looking on camera. So I really like that. So you can see the four engines went out. I'll just give you a quick look here how long it takes, and they'll come back on. And there they go. And it'll just cycle like that for the rest of the time. So that's pretty cool. Okay guys, one more look here. I'm going to pause one more time, and we'll put the top on it, and we'll give you kind of a low light look at how the lighting looks like on the side of the ship that I've completed so far. Be right back. Alright, so here's a look at the starboard side of the Star Destroyer here with the fiber optics that are installed there. You can see I have a mixture of some whites and some reds running down the whole side of this thing. And you can see it's looking pretty good. I've still got a few to do here at the very forward part of the tip. Now those that you see sticking out on the bottom, those are haven't been trimmed off yet. I have to wait until I do all my painting and everything on that. Here's a look at the engines in some low light. You can see those are plenty bright, just like they should be on the movie. I've also got a few of them here back at the rear corners. You can see the fiber optics there. There'll be another set over here on the other side. But this is going to look really nifty once it's all stacked up, and the upper deck's all added with all that lighting going on as well. And remember, I'm also going to be having the light up effect here on the laser cannon emplacements, and on both sides, that I'll have on a separate switch that I can turn off and on. So there's a good look at that, guys. Let me see if I can turn this other background light off and maybe get you a little bit better view here if it doesn't go blurry on me. Try to stay backed up here a little bit. So there, maybe you can see the reds a little bit better. And there's a light leak going on. It's not, it's not down tight on the top. But I think that's going to look pretty good, guys. I'm really happy with that so far. I hope you guys like it. Okay, everybody, that's going to be a wrap for this one. We're going to come back about another week or so and give you another update on this. I should be a lot further along on the lighting and getting close to starting to close up the hull and everything. Figure out how I'm going to do all the rest of my lighting, and then start working on the rest of the detail. The whole next video will probably be working on that rear docking bay there that has about 5 or 6 sheets of photo etch with it. So that'll be interesting to work on. Alright everybody, until next time, take care and happy modeling.